Hello there and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto 3. Today we're continuing on with Let's Play. This is episode 34. In today's episode we are taking a look at the Shoreside Vale vehicle missions, rounding out vehicle missions for all three islands. There are two here on Shoreside, and the first of which is a Rumpo Rampage, which targets you with destroying as many hoods, gang, Rumpos as possible within 2 minutes with the good old RC Bandit. This is, as we've seen plenty of other times with missions like Mafia Massacre, Diablo Destruction, and the Yakuza one, Casino Calamity, that's the name of it. Basically what you have to do is drive the RC Bandit close to the vans. You can either smash into the wheels or press O to manually detonate the car, which is the best way to do it. And basically just kill as many as you can within the time limit. There is no fixed limit as to how many of these that you do need to get. So destroying just one will pass the mission. However, it is worth noting that you do earn an extra $1,000 for every van that you kill. As usual, strategies as far as this one goes is to basically try and get two vans with one explosion if you can. You won't be getting too much in terms of money for this mission. It's kind of difficult to kill. I mean, the most you can probably kill in one session is like 10, and the Rumpos aren't. This sort of stretch of road doesn't spawn that many in the way of vehicles, so you might find it a little bit difficult to find vehicles. You'll certainly find one, which is enough to pass the mission, and that shouldn't bother you, but yeah, it is a little bit of a pain getting things to spawn around here, depending on what time of day you are doing this mission. It's also a little bit harder than into Casino Calamity to get two vehicles at once. Essentially you need them to be in opposing lanes at the same time, which is kind of difficult. Sort of on the two-way roads that you get in Staunton Island, it's a lot easier. This one's a lot more like, say, the Diablo one in terms of its difficulty. Yeah, I only managed to kill 5 vehicles here, so I killed that Idaho for no reason. But either way, that does award you with your 5,000, and also you'll get an achievement if you are playing this on, well, PlayStation 4. If not, then well done, you've completed all of the RC missions. Congratulations, you. Next up, we have our final off-roading mission in the game. This one is simply called Gripped! And this one is a bit of a wanker, let me tell you. I actually thought this one was not very difficult. When I played this as a kid, this was one of the first ones I actually ended up doing. However, going back to this, yeah, this is a bit of a nightmare. It essentially relies on luck and also knowing your routes around the area a lot more than, say, the previous ones on Portland have. This one is a little bit more difficult. It also involves a lot more rock climbing. The Patriot's ability to climb is remarkable, do not get me wrong. However, it can sort of be a little bit of an issue at certain points. For example, the double checkpoints here, I was having tons of issues trying to get these. As you can see, I have an issue there as well. The vehicle does grip better in reverse, which is worth pointing out, but that can only get you so far. Essentially, you sort of have to. It looks a little bit weird the way that you have to go around collecting them, but because they're on a sloped area, actually trying to get those, you will lose traction very easily, which does make it extremely difficult. Also, as usual, when driving a high-side vehicle in this game, rollover is a risk, and if you destroy the Patriot, or get out the Patriot for whatever reason, that will mark the end of your mission. Ironically enough, this is one that actually does get easier. Pretty much after you've got the first few checkpoints and you've got a decent amount of time in the bag, this one does come a hell of a lot easier. Essentially it involves just going up towards the observatory, sort of climbing these hills around the back end of Shoreside Vale, which isn't massively difficult. The Patriot can deal with those pretty well. I guess it is pretty untraversed terrain, you've got no real reason to come up here, so perhaps it might confuse you where certain checkpoints are. But, you know, if you have, say, a minute or so in the bank, it does make it a hell of a lot easier. As I said before, the Patriot is arguably the best off-road vehicle in the game. Its ability to climb is immense, so it really shouldn't be too much of a problem. Rollover is probably your biggest risk here, just because the mountains are kind of weird and jagged, which is worth pointing out. There's also one coming up, which is a little bit of an issue, although I think I managed to navigate around doing that. Also try to not fall into the road beneath you. You'll probably roll the vehicle anyway, but in the chance that you live, do try and get up here as quickly as possible. As usual, just keep an eye on the time limit. I do like to have a decent buffer when it comes to these missions, because you know, you don't know how awkward a certain checkpoint is going to be. For example, I thought this one's positioning was going to be really awkward, so I went for the further checkpoint first because I knew that would give me an extra 15 seconds to do this. As you can see, very similar to the last Patriot mission where you had to go around Sal's mansion. They do actually share similarities. This one, of course, is more difficult, but in terms of sort of the driving technique of this, slow and steady and all the rest of it, maybe it will take you a few practice runs to learn the route. It took me more than a few practice runs, I've got to be honest. I think I was at this for about half an hour or so, although it was usually stupid mistakes that would make me fail it. But once I got into rhythm, I had to watch a quick video on YouTube, just sort of to get that first route right, sort of between the rocks and all the rest of it. I was pretty much alright after that. And again, as I said, the Patriot is pretty good, and just be slow and steady and you should be okay. Don't expect to do this one first time round. You might have to do a couple of scouting runs in terms of the checkpoints, but just hang in there. It's not massively difficult. It is probably the most difficult off-roading mission in the game, unless you have real big issues with the Landstalker, which, let's face it, pretty much everyone does, but a ride in the park isn't too bad once you sort of know what you're doing with it. As you can see, time limit was starting to become a little bit of an issue here, but thankfully the Patriot managed to pull itself up, and the final checkpoint is hidden on the tunnel going out into upstate. After you do that, it's $40,000, another trophy earned if you're playing this on PlayStation 4. And that's it for the vehicle missions. All in all, those are done, so congratulations. In fact, that is the final mission-based thing in this game before we, of course, encountered the finale. So we're at 72 out of 73 missions. Hooray. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching this edition of the GTA 3 Let's Play. I do hope you've enjoyed. Next time, we are going to be taking a look at the unique stunt jumps, more vehicle-based carnage to come. Join me for that. Until then, farewell.
Call up the boy, let's go for the joyride. Let's go for the joyride.